each day. Where there's a will, there's a way.
Good, barely afternoon. I'm going to go shut a door. I'll be right back. I'm going to shut this while I'm not. Got the grandchildren here. Yeah, watching a show. It have to keep it like really, really low. It is so loud that you would hear it. It's when I hear things off to the side, it's hard for me to focus on what I'm doing. So sometimes I can do it. Sometimes I can't. Sometimes I can and sometimes I can't. But either way, maybe y'all should just shut the fuck up while I'm doing this. I'm just kidding. Maybe you should just all do everything that I tell you to do, and then this world would be perfect, right? Happy Saturday, Michelle. Hi, Miss Sip. Miss Sip. Actually, you told me your name. But you're doing Sip here, and I believe in anonymity. If you're okay with your real name, let me know, and I'll call you that. Otherwise, I'm gonna call you Sip here. All right, because I don't know if you're trying to do so. Whatever. We're gonna talk about living in a solution today. But Sip's gonna be on the show Wednesday. She's gonna come on Raw Recovery. We're gonna get a different view, because I do a lot of AA stuff here. I've been trying to expand it some, get some people from Al-Anon, maybe Celebrate Recovery, Smart Recovery. I'm always looking for LGBTQ speakers. Those ones are the hardest ones to find, and I need more of those because, see, when it comes to storytelling, we need these different perspectives, but yet these different perspectives do nothing but bring us closer together. That way, when somebody that's LGBTQ or maybe somebody that went a different route than what I did says something, but we can relate, then we become one. Then we become one, and all the stuff that society deems as necessary for the likes and loves disappears, and what you have is a culmination of spirituality. And maybe the other person is atheist. Maybe they don't believe in God. Not a requirement for all this stuff, man. I prefer a higher power. All right. Welcome to Daily Trudge. My name's Dion. You haven't figured it out. I think that, I think Darth Vader's the good guy. I'm that guy. Okay. I'd literally have his head sitting on my counter over there. So you can say, I prefer the bad guys. There's the Joker. Right there. Oops. The opposite way. Right there. I prefer Heath Ledger's Joker. Watching Karate Kid with the kids, I'm like picking on Daniel. I'm like, look, he was starting fights all over the place, man. Man, Daniel LaRusso's a jerk. If you're here, please say hello, whether you're watching the live or the rewatch. I'm not really that person. I like Darth Vader and stuff. So, all right, I'm gonna grab a fan real quick. I thought I turned the AC on. It is on. Oh, probably help if I shut the window, letting the heat in. Let me grab a fan real quick. Thank you. Sorry. So there's a reason for this title, the reason for this topic today. A couple of reasons. Number one, I'm going to be kind of changing my format a little bit, the way that it happens, what's going to happen is I'm going to start out with like hey, this is what we're talking about today. I'll probably read from a script and stuff. And then I'm going to do, and then I will play the theme song, which is written and performed by my niece. At 17 at the time. She's 22 now. Tells you how long I've been doing this. A little while. 7.5 years. 7 years, 7 months I've been doing this. But, and then I'm going to put up a warning because I've noticed something. I swear a lot. I was thinking about naming it like the Salty Recovery Dude or something like that. All right, hey, buddy. But something that I've noticed um, with a lot of videos that I'm seeing, and I know we're trying to help, but they're coming on, they're just talking about how bad it was. Right? I saw this little clip with Macklemore, and you know there's more to it. But he's like, the hardest part of staying sober is when I come home from the road. And that's about all it says. It has no solution in it. Okay. And it makes it sound like he's whining. And I've heard a little bit more from Macklemore. Not his music's all right, but I can appreciate anybody in recovery. There's a lot of people that I listen to that are in recovery. Pretty much all the glam rock from the 80s, they're all in recovery. Right? Billy Joel. I'm a big fan of Eminem, but only because he's sober. Elton John is Eminem's sponsor. So what? Doesn't matter. Okay. These are people. Macklemore and Elton and all these people that I'm talking about, they are, you know what they are? They're children of God just like us. I do not get all starry-eyed around people. It's not how I work. I just no, you are who you are. And I've met stars in my life. I yelled at Simon Cowell one day. Yes, it's a true story. It really did happen. He was kind of being a dick. He's changed, but see, I believe people can change too. I do. Now Simon Cowell is one of the coolest dudes in the world, man. He was a dick. And what changed it? Children. Having children changed him. Then he realized, man, maybe I shouldn't. Now, what he does, instead of being angry about things, he takes those and he uses them to help improve the world. Good job, dude. I'm proud of him for that. Still not a huge Simon Cowell fan, but, the joke is I owe him an amends. That's the joke. Oh, my grandkids are trying to be sneaky. They're sneaking around. They don't understand that I grew up in jails and institutions, and I always know who's behind me. It's so hard to scare me. So the reason that I picked this topic today is they're just bringing up the bad stuff there because they're trying to get you to buy their stuff. And so what are they doing? They're going for the pain. And I'm going to tell you, this is a sales technique. That's a sales technique, not a technique that we necessarily use in helping getting somebody sober. It's not quite the same. Okay, but when you close something, including a 12-step call, you got to find the pain. And then you have to solve the pain. Which means you better be a person with a solution. And that's part of the problem. I see a lot of people speaking, and good on you for recovering out loud. Good on you, because it's not easy to do. Oh, people out there, they're mean. They are mean. I mean, I've a couple of people come after me, and they would say, this is when my hair was a little bit longer. Maybe I'll show us a picture sometime. But I don't care if my hair's a mess when I come on here. I don't use filters. I don't use any of that. You're going to see whatever mug you get to see today. You get to see the same glorious face that I do. All right. I'm not going to use any filter. I don't even know how to use them. I don't even know if I don't think that you can on this. I'd have to download something and work on it. Right. So, but we got to get to the solution. It is important, and I don't care what program you're working, we have got to live in the solution. because for the longest time I lived in dissolution and in disillusionment. See, alcohol dissolves things. That is its job. That is its job. See, alcohol used to be marked X, X, X. Nowadays, people be like, "Oh, well, that's a rating for adult movies." No, it means poison. In this case, it means poison. Alcohol is a poison, and it will dissolve anything good in life. It doesn't understand good or bad. It doesn't understand right or wrong. Alcohol is a liquid. It is an inanimate object that seems to have more control than a lot of other things in this world. It's because there's other things that I believe in too. I believe that alcohol is a demonic spirit in and of itself. I do. Because if you take a look at things like, and we don't have to get religion-y here in order to do that, to think of that. If I believe in a higher power, well, gosh, there's got to be a lower power. I mean, right? Can't have just like you can't have happiness without sadness. You can't have good without evil. You can't have a lot of these things without the opposite thing being true also. At least that's been my experience, right? So what? Why is it giving me travel considerations for maintaining sobriety? All right. I'm gonna re-ask this question because here's where AI is good. It can pull all the information together for me at once. Why is it so important that an alcoholic live in the solution? Now, living in the solution does not mean staying positive all the time. Positivity is a great thing. It's good to change your attitude, but having a positive attitude is a decision. It requires no action. And it is kind of that's what I would call the lazy man's way. Because there is such thing as toxic positivity. Oh, you're just not being positive enough. If you're positive enough, that'll all change. Nah, no. If that was the case, then I could have just, wiped out my PTSD by being positive about it. Yeah, it didn't work. I needed help. All right. Living in the solution for alcoholic means actively engaging in the recovery process that addresses both abstinence, and the underlying factors contributing to alcohol use disorder is crucial for several reasons. Okay. Sustained sobriety and relapse prevention. Yep. It's a big one. See, my thought process is all jacked up. And I had to rewire it. When people say that Alcoholics Anonymous brainwashes people, okay, I'm going to tell you something. It's true. That is true in the sense that we are brainwashing you. Yes, it's called the Belladonna effect. Okay, I needed it. CBT is brainwashing and AA is CBT. Recovery is CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, which means just the process of digging a little bit to find out the cause and condition of why you drank and then starting to replace these negative things in your life with positive ones. That is CBT in a nutshell, right? And we use it in recovery. That's why if you find a therapist that works with CBT and these other things, and you're working a program of some sort, therapists love it. Because then you're actually then there's a hump that they don't have to go get over, denial. And have you ever seen a person who is a non-alcoholic try and get rid of the denial for an alcoholic? Yeah, doesn't work out very well, does it? No, but when one recovered alcoholic, when one healed alcoholic, not cured, we are never cured of this disease. And at this point, I'm not sure I would want to be, because then I would lose all my friends. Okay. I would lose my fellowship if they found a cure. I wouldn't want it. It's kind of like you watch X-Men, and the third X-Men, they came out with a cure, right? And Storm is telling people there is no cure because there's nothing wrong with you. You're beautiful the way you are. Yeah. Right. How else can we living in a solution? It can help you restart your day. You can start your day over anytime you want. All right. Now I'm going to tell you this is practiced because it's really hard to get from that negative attitude back to a positive one in the beginning because it's not practiced. Now it doesn't take me as half as much time. It doesn't take me that much time to figure out I'm in a bad mood. I need to change my attitude. And as soon as I say to myself, I need to change my attitude, the process starts. It's just looking at things differently. So, recovery from alcoholism, it says AUD, but I'm not going to use, I don't use that here. I don't use alcohol use disorder. I don't use substance use disorder. NADAC just likes to sit around and call us names. Nothing wrong with alcoholism in my book. If you prefer disorder, awesome. But when, if I said AUD to most people in the world, or most people, or most alcoholics, they'd be like, "What are you saying?" They wouldn't. Now I'm talking above their heads, and we're not going to do that shit. No. So recovery from alcoholism is a chronic and relapsing disorder. No, it is not. But anyway, recovery from is not chronic, nor is it a relapsing disorder. Dear Lord, meaning it's rarely one-time event where it, okay, that I can agree with. Okay, relapses happen. I prefer slips. Because relapse means, and even there they have relapse wrong. Relapse means you drank again and you went out for years. That's what that means for a physical relapse. And this isn't the clinical term or anything like that. This is just how Dion keeps it separated in his head. Because there's a difference. If I stayed out, things are going to get worse. Now, let's say I had a slip. Let's say last night I had a drink. Yeah, a drink. Ha ha ha, right? Nothing like an alcoholic joke, right? So let's say I had a slip last night, but today I went right back to it. Okay. Now, if you go back to your program or back to what you were doing within a reasonable time, what you had was a slip. And slips come with something that we totally ignore: progress. No, what we do is we hitch ourselves to that train of blame, shame. I'm going to tell you what you lost. I'm going to tell you exactly what you lost in that slip. Nothing. You didn't lose any. Maybe something happened. I'm not going to get into particulars. But overall, that slip, well, maybe you got DUI this time or something. Maybe there, but let's just talk in general on this one. But Dion, I have to change my sobriety date. We are only sober today. And you think, okay, I'm coming up, I have 9 years. I'll have 10 years next April. Okay. I have over 20 years of sobriety altogether. I am an arm length away from the next drink just by the person with 7 days. I'm no different. There's no recovery 102. There's no advanced recovery. And why is that? Because as an alcoholic, I need to continue to grow, which means I need something unlimited. I need something way bigger than me. What I need is perfection. Now, hear me out on this. Why do I need, and okay, I'm not going to become perfect. So let's just go ahead and clear that one up right now. But I strive for perfection, knowing I'm not going to reach it. I know that. But it gives me something to strive for. It gives me a reason to wake up in the morning and do something about what's going on. It gives me the option to live in the solution. Right? If you got up before 10:35 a.m. Mountain Standard Time today, you have more sobriety than I do. Do I have more experience than a lot of people? Yeah. Do I have more education than a lot of people in this field? Yeah. Does that make me bigger or better or anything? No. Because there's a lot of things you know that I don't know either. There we go. Recovery is not just AA. No. Recovery isn't just celebrate recovery or a smart recovery or whatever route you went. No. It's about living life with the people that you love. That's recovery. All right. My wife, my kids, my grandkids, they are part of my recovery. Which means there's always more to learn. How to be a better parent, how to be a better husband, how to be a better friend. It's not written on the wall over there. That is something that is that is the part where we say that is indescribably wonderful, that your path is going to be something different. We both tread the same road, but your experience is going to be different. That's what's great about it. It's individualized, it's all your own. You never had anything in your fucking life that was all your own, but your recovery is. So be selfish about it. You can do it. The only thing we've missed today so far is I haven't sung anything yet. I think what I'm going to start doing is when I come on, what I'm going to announce is the 3 songs that I use to get my voice prepped. That might be kind of fun. Oh, what I was going to. Yeah. Oh, hi, Amber. This is what it's going to have. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start the show, and after about 3 minutes, I'm going to play the theme song. I got off on that. Sorry about that. Right. And then the theme song's going to come on, and then I'm going to have a warning. But it's not a real warning. It's going to be a funny warning. Like, welcome to Daily Trudge. Be careful. There's a lot of swearing here, and you might accidentally get well by listening to us. Something fun, something silly, right? And then the show will start. So I'm going to change the format a little bit. But what's going to happen is then I'm going to have to do a little bit more setup. I'm going to have to do a few more things, and it's going to look a little different, but the flow of it's going to go a lot better, I think. All right. Because the show doesn't really start, or the trudge doesn't really start until about 5 minutes in. Because it takes people that long to it takes everything to kind of happen. Right. So I hope everybody's still here because this is a good one. Tells me only one person's here, but I do not believe it. So living in the solution involves employing the tools learned during treatment. And of course, this is by Attain Behavioral Health, who wants you to go to their treatment. Okay. Treatment is a good idea. I'm not Mr. Big on treatment at the present moment. I would rather you found a treatment center, unless it was West Pines. West Pines kicking butt out here. But the treatment centers in Colorado are kind of iffy. Stay away from treatment centers in Colorado, California, Florida, Georgia, Oregon. Do not go in. Yeah, actually, if I was to pick a state, I know it's going to sound weird. It's going to sound weird. Okay. It was Kalamazoo, Michigan. Michigan has some of the best treatment right now. If you can get into Betty Ford or Hazleton, great treatment centers. Great treatment centers. So the tools that you learn during treatment, or maybe by going to the groups you've been going to, whether that's AA or whatever it is, right? Developing healthy habits and participating in activities that support long-term recovery, like according to Attain Behavioral Health. But we're not going to give them a plug. Amber says making Isaac's B-Day gifts, cake topper. So much fun. So much fun. I loved it. I loved the comparison pictures yesterday, Amber, and you wore the same dress too. So, engagement in support groups like AA has been shown to reduce relapse rates. Okay. I know some people have a hard time going to groups and sitting in a circle and talking about things, or maybe sitting in a square because it's on Zoom. It can be hard, it can be tough, but it is known to work. It doesn't matter what path you're going. The 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 opposite of addiction is connection. It's connection. It doesn't matter what route you go. You cannot do it alone. It will never work. Okay. And even in the beginning, it's a little tough because you'll be working with somebody and suddenly they want to go do this and go do. I'm just so busy. I'm so busy. I can't get to. I'm so busy. I'm so busy. And that's when they're using excuses to not go to meetings. That is legitimate to a certain extent. Sure, it is. People are busy. And what did I say earlier? Part of the recovery isn't always the meetings, it's also your family and the things that you do in the community, right? Right now, we're having a meeting. There's at least two of us here, and that's all it takes. It's a very one sided meeting, right? But it is, right? So, addressing underlying issues and emotional healing. Sobriety is not just about abstaining from some. Okay, I've gotta, I gotta say this. Sobriety, alcohol. Sobriety, alcohol. Okay, clean, drugs. Clean, drugs. Sobriety, not drugs. Sober literally means no alcohol. That is the literal word of it. Lumping these together becomes dangerous. If you don't know me well enough yet, you'll understand that I believe these are two separate things. The solution can quite be, but how we say things matters. Okay. It is about addressing underlying emotional issues and healing from past traumas. Healing from past traumas. Healing. You want to know what my part of my problem was in the beginning, especially with my PTSD? Oh man, I wanted to be the victim. I was so used to being the victim. I had to get out of my own victimhood. It was the hardest one because, gosh, it was so easy to blame everyone else for how I had turned out. So easy. I'm sure you feel the same way. That'll be easy to do that. I see a lot of people doing this right now, blaming other people for who they are. You got to get past that. You will never heal. You will never find out who you are unless you get past that. All right. Living in the solution involves exploring emotions, working through unresolved issues, and developing healthy coping mechanisms. Even here, they're not talking about the solution. Looks and sounds a little negative, does it not? We know that. Anyway, techniques like cognitive behavioral therapy, huh, huh, and DBT, which I believe that Amber is doing, dialectical behavioral therapy. I like EMDR, works really, really well for me. I would recommend it. Does it work for everybody? If not, then try the DBT. It's working very well for Amber. It's working for her. Are invaluable for managing emotions without resorting to substances, according to Sober Nation. Fuck Sober Nation. All right, there's some places out there. Be careful on who you're. If somebody is taking a famous star and using their quote in order for likes and loves, it is undeserved. It is unearned. It is fake. It doesn't exist. Right? The people that I forget stitch when you stitch a video, right? And this person, all this stuff's going on, and the person that's just is just like, what are they doing? It doesn't exist. It's not true. All right. It improves overall well-being and quality of life. God, Sober Nation's all over this. All right, living in the solution promotes physical and mental health through practices like healthy diet, exercise, and mindfulness. Now we got to be careful because, see, yeah, it promotes it, but where's the balance? Here's the other thing, dear recovery coaches, sober coaches, people selling your stuff, put on some clothes, would you? I don't mind if you're wearing a nice shirt. Maybe the girls are out a little bit. But when we're running around in bikinis, when men are running around with no shirt on, what are we really going for? See, there's other types of addiction. And I've seen some people come into the program and then all of a sudden, instead of being at the bar and ignoring their kids, they're at the gym ignoring their kids. This is the replacement for one addiction to another and one unhealthy addiction. Okay. Physical exercise is important. I'm not taking away from it, but it is not the number one priority. Your mental health is the number one priority. If you work on your spiritual malady, the rest will fall into place. I promise you that. If that's the route you decide to go. Not everybody goes that route. So, I'm not reading any more from Sober Nation. It fosters personal growth and skill and development, right? It removes you from isolation, that loneliness that we alcoholics are tortured by. Let's see if we can get some. In essence, living in the solution is a holistic approach that, not necessarily a holistic approach. It isn't necessarily holistic always. See, they like to shove their own stuff in there. So that's why you got to be careful a little bit. If you want it to be a holistic approach, and great. I'm just trying to appease everybody. I'm trying. That's why I'm doing it that way. That goes simply beyond abstaining from alcohol. Woohoo! I'll go for that. It encompasses building a new healthy lifestyle that addresses the root causes of addiction, fosters personal growth, and creates a fulfilling life in sobriety. Now, they forgot one thing, the most important thing, helping others. That is the number one way to stay in the solution. Nothing so much ensures immunity from drinking than intensive work with other alcoholics. It works when other activities fail. That means don't even bother with the other activities. If I have found that if I am in self-pity, a gratitude list exacerbates it. I should go help someone else. Because then I'll start doing the gratitude list and I'll be thinking all the things that I feel like I deserve that I have not received. That's what my brain does. There are great times for, I've started my mornings more with gratitude because I notice that I wake up wanting to I'm looking for a fight when I wake up. It's mostly from my dreams. They're not nightmares anymore, but my dreams are still very, very violent. I don't really always like it. Don't fuck with me. And I'm usually like Spider-Man or something. Or I have his skills, I know. Working with others is the number one way to live in the solution. Because when you sit down with somebody and they're going through something and you utilize your empathy and the tools that you have, you are automatically in the solution. We don't think to solution. We live in it. We let it permeate us from head to toe. And then what happens is then our problems become an opportunity to become a better person. You get all the benefits, and alcoholics get benefits other people in this world do not get. We also go through things other people do not go through, i.e., loneliness. People go through that, but not to the extent that alcoholics do. All right. Thank you, everybody, for being here. I appreciate it. Got a sponsor in half an hour here. Glad he reminded me, because I may have forgotten. All right. All right. Thank you, everybody, for being here. I appreciate it. If you have a topic you want to hear, because I'm going to start preparing, like today, I'm going to prepare tomorrow's show. So I'm going to be a day in advance on topics. That'll be the main daily trudge, which should happen about 11 o'clock each day, unless it's the weekend. All right. The other ones I'll just kind of do like I usually do. But the main one, I'm going to change it a little bit. We'll see if I have time to do it today. Thank you, everybody, for being here. I appreciate it. I love you. You know I do. You know I do. Peace out. And